Hello everyone, welcome back to another Infinity Nikki video. As some of you may or may not have noticed, I haven't really been making any Infinity Nikki content over the last month or so, and there are a couple of reasons for that. The main reason for that is because of the many issues surrounding the 1.5 update. Although I did mostly enjoy this update, it did sort of leave a sour taste in my mouth with the way Info kind of handled everything, and I found myself not really wanting to jump on the game, and honestly I couldn't even really be bothered to do my dailies either. Then 1.6 came around and I honestly was not impressed with the update. Although I did like the banner outfits, the update as a whole was pretty lackluster, and again, my motivation to actually jump on the game was dwindling. I did end up jumping on over a couple of days and doing all the events just because I didn't want to miss out on the diamonds, but this really was the least amount of time I have put into the game since it launched in December. I think it's also worth mentioning the fact that I could just hop on over a couple of days and complete basically everything in the whole update sort of speaks to how uninteresting it was. Sure, some of the realm challenges were fun, don't get me wrong, but they did get a little bit tedious, and I know a lot of people did not have a fun time trying to complete them, let alone trying to find the chests hidden amongst the many mazes. So moving on to what this video is actually about, 1.7. Now 1.7 released at the start of the week, and although I didn't have a deep dive into all the upcoming content that was releasing like I had been doing in the past, I did jump on and play the new exclusive quest Toward the Other Side of Tears to see if this update was going to be another flop or not. Coming into the 1.7 update, my hopes on this being a good season were honestly higher than expected because I had seen the season trailer and it looked like the season was going to be featuring a bit of a darker and mysterious theme, which I was quite excited about. This exclusive quest was by no means a long one. I think it took about 2 hours max to finish the whole thing. However, overall I did really enjoy it. Firstly, the writing for the characters in this quest was actually decently enjoyable to listen to, and yes, the whole thing is voiced, which is nice as well. There was minimal rambling like I've seen in so many other quests in Infinity Nikki. You know, the type where you just start skipping through because the characters are just repeating themselves or sort of wasting time with pointless and uninteresting information that I don't care about. Now, I'm not saying that the 1.7 exclusive quest had none of this, but it was bearable, and because the story itself was actually interesting to listen to, I guess I didn't mind listening to the minor rambling as much. During the exclusive quest, we meet 2 new characters, Deanna and Phoebe. Now, Phoebe is this historian who's doing some research. She wasn't really my favorite character. I don't really feel like she added a lot to this quest or the story, but she was there doing some things. Now, Deanna is this ranger who comes to Wishfield to learn more about her ancestor, who was another ranger that was from Wishfield, and the story that unfolds with this character was really interesting and beautiful. I won't get into too much detail about the story because I would highly recommend playing this quest yourself if you haven't already. Now, as you progress through the quest, a new dungeon is unlocked called the Serpentine Ruins, and I think this might be my favorite dungeon in the game so far. I honestly loved everything about this dungeon. It's visually stunning with these massive cliffs, huge canyons, beautiful blue flowers and grass covering everything, all the way to this massive blue serpent that stretches across the entire dungeon. It was honestly such a sight to behold. During the entire dungeon, I was just really thoroughly enjoying the beautiful design. Now, accompanying the beautiful visuals was perfectly fitting music. It was sort of enchanting and mysterious, and it felt like I had stepped into this magical, mystical fantasy world, and I just couldn't get over how good the music sounded. There was also some other sound effects too that really added to the atmosphere. When picking up blings, it made these satisfying water droplet noises. And when these ballista arrows passed by, they made this enchanting musical noise too. Traveling through this dungeon was enjoyable from the get-go, and as you progress through, the music sort of shifts, but always keeps this mystical and enchanting theme that I just couldn't get enough of. Because this dungeon is part of the quest, there is a huge climax at the end, tying up the story, and in my opinion, it was a really great ending. And I do hope that you will try this quest out for yourself if you haven't already, because it genuinely has one of the most interesting stories I think we've been given in a filler update so far. This is the sort of story that I had hoped the 1.3 Eerie season with Queen Philomia would be. And honestly, I think it could have been. So if you have played this quest, be sure to let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear. Now, in addition to the main exclusive quest, there is also a ton of world and random quests to complete too. However, I have not had a chance to check these out yet. Majority of the time, I don't care too much for these types of quests, as they usually feel boring and end up being long and drawn out, telling me information about random characters that I don't really care about. But I'll do my best to give these quests a fair chance, since the exclusive one was so good. Now, moving on to the not so great aspects of this update, it's not very free to play. And I have noticed as the updates have been coming out, they're focusing more and more on the shop and giving us free to play players less and less. Now, I know it's a gacha game, and trust me, I have played my fair share of gacha games. But the path that Infinity Nikki is taking doesn't feel like a good one, and there's one specific thing they've been doing that really grinds my gears. So when looking in the shop, they have a lot of new items this season, ranging from outfits, makeup, and even some photo poses. But the thing that really bothers me is these constant fake sales that we're seeing. Now, they have been doing this a lot lately, and this update, every single new item in the store is currently on sale. However, this is completely entirely not a sale. To be considered a sale, it would have to at some point be the full price, no? However, these items are only in the store for a limited time, and during that time, they are always the sale price. And so far, no limited time shop items have ever returned. Therefore, these items are not really on sale. So advertising them as being 77% off, 68% off, and all these other arbitrary numbers is honestly just super scummy, because new players might think they're actually getting a good deal when they're not. And I mean, I honestly don't believe that anyone would ever pay what they're considering to be the full price for these items. If they were full price, that would be an absolute ripoff, and the entire community would be complaining about it. I've calculated, and on sale, the total spend is around 50 AUD or $30 US, but full price comes to a whopping 150 AUD or 100 USD. I mean, I think that's kind of crazy. I don't think anyone's really going to pay that much for some makeup and a couple of dresses. I don't know about that. Either way, in my opinion, super scummy, and it is bothering me a lot, because I hate that they're just so blatantly doing it, and it's so obviously not a sale. Anyway, moving on. Aside from the shop problems, this also seems to be the worst free-to-play season yet, with only one free outfit being given out, and the maximum amount of pulls you could possibly earn being around 65, and that's not even enough for half of a 5-star outfit. So how are free-to-play players ever expected to get anything when each update there's a 5-star banner, there's always 2 4-star banners that come in the second half of the season, and then this update we also have a 5-star rerun banner coming too. And they're also expecting us to pay at least $50 for the shop items alone. I mean, it's honestly getting to the point where I don't even know why I bother playing if I'm going to need to save up for 4 seasons just to guarantee I can get a full 5-star outfit. It's just not fun. I don't know. Personally, I'm just not really enjoying the game like I used to. I mean, it's a dress-up game, and they're making it almost impossible to get any outfits without spending a lot of money, and I just don't have that kind of money to spend. And it's disappointing because I loved the game so much. I was so passionate about it, and I know that it has so much potential to be a great game, but they just don't really seem to care. I actually had a look at their monthly revenue since launch, and it is looking really bad for the game. The revenue has gone from 23 mil in December all the way down to 3 mil in June, and it already halved from May to June. So it could half again this July, and if they have no money, they have no game. They want people to just keep spending and spending and spending, but they're not really giving us any reason to. They just make the community feel bad, give everyone like the fear of missing out for these banners, which just makes us feel like shit. And when they make mistakes, they take forever to acknowledge them and don't really seem to change their ways. All I can say right now is I'm scared for the future of Infinity Nikki. I'm sorry that this video ended on a bit of a sad note here. Like, overall, I am enjoying 1.7. The quest was really, really good, and the 5-star outfit looks stunning. Not that I can get it. I think they did a good job with the story. I honestly do. It's a lot better than the last update, but there's just a lot of problems and I don't really know how they're going to fix them. I'm looking forward to the player housing. That is my main thing that I'm looking forward to at the moment. I'm hoping that that's really good. I'm hoping maybe that could save the game. But my other worry is if they're now putting things like photo poses in the store, are all the decorations for the player housing gonna be pay to win as well? Like, if that's the case, then it's not really going to be enjoyable, you know? But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video and maybe you found my insights useful, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone.